Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this week's Breath Library session, which is all about helping people to breathe better that have asthma or asthmatic symptoms. So, before we get started, let's have a quick recap on last week's session. Last week's session, we covered we recapped on the Connection Coven, which was an event that we ran all about connecting in different ways. And so we went through the breathing practice of chakra chanting, which was a wonderful exercise that we could do to rebalance our inner energy. So would love to know if any of you got on well, if you practiced any of that, and let me know in the comments, drop me a message. We also this week had just done our breath source live class, which was on Monday, and we looked at ways that we can reduce anxiety and stress. But don't worry if you missed that one, because you can come along to our next breath source class, which is on the 23rd of October, and it is going to be all about breathing light and breathing less to breathe more, and how when we breathe less we actually can breathe more. It sounds strange, but it really works, and there's a way of improving our breath. So there will be a link to book onto that in the description. It's only I think it's on the 23rd of October, 3 p.m, which is a Monday, and it is $5, which in the UK that translates to £4.11, or thereabouts. So book on that. We would love to see you along. It's a 45-minute session. It's in depth. It's both me and Leanne, and we will be teaching oxygen advantage techniques along with traditional pranayama techniques as well. So great session, always well attended. So yeah, book onto that. So this session is something that is important to me, because when I grew up, I had asthma, and breathing has been something that throughout different stages of my life has affected me. So when I learned about these practices through the oxygen advantage, some Mateko techniques, and just sort of traditional yogic breathing, then what I found was that any time that I had been affected or was affected by asthmatic symptoms, then it was much better after after practicing these breathing exercises. So it was something that was worth exploring. And I grew up with asthma, so from a young age, I was mostly affected at night. I didn't have any serious asthma attacks. But my mum did everything that she knew how. So went to the doctors, had one of those inhaler pumps, but also was enrolled in swimming. And I was quite an active child, so I was always moving around. But swimming was something that really helped. And it really helps because you are learning how to control the breath. So you're slowing it down, you're using it with movement. But most importantly, when you're swimming, it takes all the pressure off of your body. So there's no external pressures that are holding anything back. So your lungs, your diaphragm, your rib cage, all those elements are able to freely move. So what actually is asthma? So asthma is actually it's a breathing disorder of the airways that narrow due to inflammation and contraction of smooth muscles. So you will experience shortness of breath, like panting, maybe creating mucus or spasming of the bronchi muscles. And this comes from the ancient Greek. I can't say the ancient Greek word, but it actually means so the meaning of the original word is shortness of breath, laborious breathing, or panting. And this is what you experience as someone that's experiencing asthma. Now, asthma is a strange thing because it doesn't affect your breathing all the time. It is only sort of short periods, and this often happens at night. And typically, it's much worse at night. And strangely enough, people tend to get affected in the early hours of the morning. And it's recorded that 40% of asthma sufferers are affected by breathing and are disturbed every single night. Now that's something that we can change, and by improving our breath at night, and if that means that you get a better night's sleep and some of the symptoms are reduced, then you're going to wake up feeling more refreshed. You're going to wake up feeling, like less tired, less anxious, like you've had a good night's sleep. Everyone knows how it feels when you wake up from a good night's sleep, and how the day is so much better when that happens. So, we're not going to go into too much about all the sort of asthma symptoms and everything that you can go through during asthma, because if you have asthma, you know what's going on, and you know when you are most affected. So what can you actually do about it? So we can practice an oxygen advantage technique called light, slow, deep breathing, or LSD breathing. And what we're going to do right now is we're just going to do 1 minute practicing light, 1 minute practicing slow, and 1 minute practicing deep breathing. This exercise is something that typically we would probably practice as a combined effort for about 15 minutes before going to sleep. So then it gives our respiratory system a good chance in being able to deal with what's going to happen at night. So first of all, the most challenging exercise, especially if you do have asthma, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a high we're going to be creating an air hunger. And what I mean by that is we're going to be restricting the volume of breath that we take in and out until we're just taking in a tiny amount. We're taking a tiny amount in and a tiny amount out. And when we do this, it is a challenging exercise. So if this is a bit of a stressor exercise, so we're only going to do it for a short period because this is a full exercise, but we're just going to give you a little bit of a taste. So adjust your posture. So put your feet firmly on the floor, straighten your spine, and importantly, roll your shoulders back. We do that to open up the chest cavity. Yep. Nice. Roll them back and just release them. Let them go loose. And then just tilt your head down just a little bit. Opens up the upper airways, and relax your jaw and keep your mouth closed. And what I'd like you to do is take a breath in through your nose and out through your nose. And on the next breath in, start to take a little bit less. And on the breath out, breathe out just not a full breath, just a partial breath. Now on the next breath in, take a smaller breath, so it's barely anything. And in, just a tiny pinch, and out, just a tiny pinch. So keep this going now for the next 45 seconds, breathing in and out ever so lightly. The aim, you could even put your finger just beneath your nose and you should barely feel air coming in or out. And and putting your finger there, you will feel the air, the warmth of the air coming in and out through your nose. So you'll be able to feel the volume coming in and out. You're doing great. It may be a little bit more challenging, but let's just do it for another 15 seconds. Just that light breath in and out. And you can return to normal breathing. So just relax, take a few normal breaths in and out through the nose. So this is just a quick sample of how to breathe light. And this exercise, this addresses the biochemistry. So what we're doing is we are getting our body used to the buildup of CO2. And that's something that we can go into depth in other episodes. But essentially, this is a crucial part to strengthening our respiratory system. So the next element of the LSD breathing is slow breathing. So what we're going to do is keep breathing through the nose. We're going to breathe in for 4 seconds and out for 6 seconds. And just for the next minute, I will guide you through this. So you don't have to worry about counting, just breathe in and out. I'm going to slow it right down. So I'll count you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in through the nose. 2, 3, 4. And out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And breathe in. 2, 3, 4. And breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And breathe in. 2, 3, 4. And breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. And breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And breathe in. 2, 3, 4. And breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. And breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's it. Just return back to a normal pace of breathing. This is an example of slow breathing. What we're doing is we're slowing that breath down to around about 5.5, 6 breaths per minute. And this is how we trigger the parasympathetic. So what this is doing is letting the body know that we're calm. We're bringing control to our breath. We are slowing it down and we are letting our bodies know that we are safe and okay. So the third element to this sort of breathing exercise is deep breathing. So there's I'm sure that most of us have been told to take a deep breath. And, and in the past, you might have gone, sucked in a huge amount of air and just take a deep breath. You're thinking a deep breath is a big breath. Well, actually, it's not. Taking a deep breath is actually sending the air down to the lowest lobes of the lungs. And we can do that using the nose. Engaging the diaphragm fully, slowly, and in a controlled manner. And then we get a great expansion of the lungs. We are filling them up from the bottom. So what I'd like to do is put your hands so your fingers are on your lowest 2 ribs, a little bit like this, a little bit Superman pose. So now I'd like you to take a breath in through the nose. Just take a slow, controlled breath all the way in. And just pay attention to what the body is doing. And then breathe out. And then breathe in and just pay attention to where the body is moving. So we'll probably notice the belly is moving out. And then when you breathe out, the belly is moving in. Now on the next breath, just pay attention to what else is moving. The slower and more controlled the breath is, the more you're going to notice moving. And breathe out. And on the next breath, breathe in. And what we're looking for is not only that breath coming out this way, but the breath moving the rib cage out this way. What we're looking for is that lateral expansion of the rib cage. This indicates we have, so breathe it out. This indicates that we have engaged the diaphragm fully. We're filling up the lungs and we're getting that full expansion. So what we'll do is now is you can rest your hands down by your sides and return to some normal breathing. So this exercise, light, slow, and deep, we've just touched on the elements, is something that we combine and we do all together. And we go into a little bit more depth. And yeah, this is something that as an entire practice, you would do 15 minutes before going to sleep. And you will notice a huge improvement in how you sleep, having a reduction in those sort of asthmatic symptoms. So there's another thing that you can do as well. There's something called a potato belt. And I actually was going to have one as a prop, but it's fine. You can check out the link in the description. And what this does is this adds a like an element of restriction to how we breathe. So a part of being asthmatic is we're breathing through our mouths, we're over breathing, we're drying up the airways. And what this does is this helps us take slower, more controlled breathing. It adds pressure, so we are not fast breathing. We have to take slow breaths. And this is something that is mentioned in Patrick McCowan's The Breathing Cure book. And it is something that will help relieve those asthmatic symptoms at night. And something else that you can do as well is make sure your bedroom has a good circulation of air. This is something that, if we're sleeping in a bedroom that is stale air, it could be anything from anything from allergens, so anything that could be dusty or not, just having clean air makes it a less of an issue for people with asthma. So I hope you have found this session helpful, a little bit enlightening, just a little bit of a touch on how it is to breathe with asthma. So if you found this helpful, then you can, I run a 2-month program. So it's 4 sessions over 8 weeks, and it is designed to help people with asthma breathe better, learn how to do some breathing exercises. Not only will it cover what to do at night and how to retrain your breathing at night, we'll also teach you how to breathe in a way that will improve your respiratory system. We'll check in. There's a free assessment that goes with it as well. But we will also be looking at how you can deal with the harder times as well. So when there is that moment of panic, shortness of breath, panting, and what we can do with our breath in that moment to change those symptoms. We'll also look at other things. So if you have exercise-induced asthma, we will address those as well. So the link is in the description. You can book a free 30-minute call and discuss how we would be able to help you. Or you can just go straight in and book the program. So the program is £200, and it is suitable for anyone with asthma as well. If you haven't had much success and you want to try something different, then this might be the avenue for you. So next week's session, we're going to look at controlling anxiety using the breath. This is something we get asked about quite a lot. And this is something that is quite common and people experience all the time, or more and more so, whether that's work or at home, people are feeling more anxious and stressed. So we can do that using the breath. So just one last thing before I go. If you haven't already, then check out the breath source, download it. There is instructors from all over the world, including us, and there is a huge catalogue of videos and now live classes, and not just ours on the 23rd of October. You can also book on with other breath instructors from all around the world, teaching all types of breath work. It really is a wonderful app, and the link is in the description, so you can set up a free account, and we'll see you there, and I'll see you next week. Bye.